first I will brief himself. Dr. Dua is a full-time lecturer based at the Discipline of Pharmacy, Graduate School of Health, GSH, University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. Dr. Dua leads research to understand the immunological mechanism of chronic lung disease and define potential therapies to be formulated into effective drug delivery system. He is also associated with the Center of Healthy Lung and HMRI. He has published 123 publications, 6 book chapters, and two books. And Dr. Dua also won 6 project grants. Funding is around $170, $170,000, including from the Department of Industry, Innovation and Science, UTS, and IMU, Malaysia. Dr. Dua established his research program on influenza infection and respiratory disease. His research on influenza A virus infection and respiratory disease has made major advance by identifying novel signaling mechanisms of respiratory disease. He is also having several collaboration work in the international institution. And Dr. Dua leads the drug delivery node of Center for Inflammation. Dr. Dua is active member of research committees of GSH, including Board of Studies, Discipline of Pharmacy, Curriculum, Department, and Research. Dr. Dua is active member of many national professional society, the Control Release Society, HCRA, ISMR, TSA, and Z. Dr. Dua is a very active, engaged, and multidisciplinary supervisor and mentor for national and international higher degree research students and research assistants. He has supervised 6 PhD students as a PI, 2 is ongoing, and associate 3 ongoing, and supervised 14 students as a principal and 2 associate. Now I invite Dr. Kamal Dua on behalf of entire Amity University of Madhya Pradesh, Gwalior, and on behalf of HY also Dr. Yan Nagappa. So now I invite you to just give you a lecture on the very interesting topic. So please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Can I start, Dr. Mishra? Is it okay?
Yes, sir, you can start, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mishra, for your kind introduction. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. The topic of my today's presentation is on the relevance of academic collaboration in higher education, why it is important, where it will take you to the next level, and why it is an emerging area in the current time. So I'm going to just talk about like how exactly you can collaborate in both the academics as well as the research areas. Now, before actually I start, I would just like to let you guys know that I'm from this state called New South Wales in Australia, and I'm from a city where I'm based is Sydney. And I'm sure everyone knows Sydney is popular and well known for the 2 iconic things. The one is the Opera House and other is the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And these 2 icons are not very far from the school where I'm based at, is the Discipline of Pharmacy at the University of Technology, Sydney. It is just around a few steps walk away from these 2 major icons of Sydney. Now, I'm also based as a researcher with the Hunter Medical Research Institute, which is a part of the University of Newcastle. And I'm also on a conjoint lecturer position with the University of Newcastle. I also lead the drug delivery node at the Center of Inflammation in Centenary Institute, which is a part of the University of Sydney as well as the UTS, where I'm based with the Discipline of Pharmacy. So before I start into my topic, I would like to start with this paper. I came across this paper, which the main heading of the paper says, collaborating to learn and learning to collaborate. So it is really a both bi-directional thing. We collaborate with each other to learn from each other. I might be expert in drug delivery. I am not expert in immunology, but someone else I collaborate with is expert in immunology. I give my ideas to them and they put their ideas of immunology in context to me. So I'm learning from them. And learning to collaborate means we are actually learning more or less new avenues, new things when we collaborate. But in this paper, they have highlighted really couple of very good things. And some of the important thing what they have highlighted is, it is really important for the university professors to collaborate. It is really important, not only just you want to excel, it is important for your own professional development. It is important because that will enhance the faculty learning, that will make the interprofessional development, and you can actually have an impact of the institutional investment, what they are doing in the faculty. You can't expect a single person can do everything, but a single person, if collaborate with the different disciplines, a major outcome can be achieved, which is called as an impact. I'm going to give you some examples later. And collaborations can be also done at an individual level or with other institutions. For that, the most important for an academic person is to come out from the comfort zone. When you come out from the comfort zone, it will automatically makes you to work a bit hard. You will get certain scoldings from your family stating that you are 24/7 sitting on a computer and working on your research papers and the research grants. But if you are ready to do that, and if you are setting up collaborations across the globe, that will lead you to a different direction. Now, there are two major sectors of collaborations. One is called academics, where most of the people come from. It can be done within a university or it can be done outside the university. If one school, say School of Pharmacy, had an idea and it's aligning with another school, say School of Engineering, and developing one project within a university, it's called intercollaboration. However, you can do it outside in different universities, in different government institutes and laboratories, you can collaborate. You can do it both at the national level and the international level. These are a couple of the news I picked from the Indian newspapers. This was one of the news which says clearly, University of Hyderabad to collaborate with the Brazil University. Why they want this collaboration? Definitely they want an impact. And that impact, not only the academic person, which is based in the university is getting, it is also the university, which is also getting a ranking in the different accreditation bodies, as well as getting a name around the globe. Also, another news I came across is India to deepen university and training collaboration. And this is with Australia. When Malcolm Turnbull was the Prime Minister here, and in 2017, that was the news it came through, how exactly a lot of Indian universities were jumping to collaborate with Australian universities to get strength in both the ends. UKRI, which is one of the UK bodies. So Indian different universities are also been collaborating with various different UK bodies as well. Not only that, if we look in the industry sector, India is literally moving towards innovation, and that is going to happen through the academia industry partnership. And I'm going to talk a bit about academia industry partnership at the end of my presentation. Now, everyone knows this cycle. I think you teach to undergraduate students and I think postgraduate students, and everyone know that. So everyone know if we discover a drug and it has to come to the market, if we sum up all these years, it will easily go up to 15 years or maybe more than that, or maybe more than 20 years. Can a single person do that with their drug? No. No one can do alone. To go through this whole cycle and get your drug into the market, I'm just using an example of a pharmaceutical drug example here. The best thing to do is to collaborate with the people. So once you have discovered your drug, and in parallel, if you are running an animal studies, in parallel, you are running an in vitro studies. And then once you have a results, and then you jump into a clinical studies, it will reduce the span of time. So the collaboration is really playing a vital role here. And that collaboration can reduce the span of your drug getting into the market from 25 years to maybe 10 years. So it is extensively reducing that. There are three important categories of the research and development. The first category is a pure basic research. The second is an applied research. And the third one is called the experimental research. And if we talk about our pharmaceutical research, it all goes through a translational path. It means it need to undergo in vitro studies, it need to undergo in vivo studies, and then humans, and then it gets to the market. And that's how the translational research plays an important role under the pure basic research, applied research, or experimental development. So all the three different categories of the research are really important for a pharmaceutical research area. If we really look how much of the total R&D in the globe is spending on the research and development. So you would be surprised, Asia is the #1 in the region which is spending maximum on the research and development, followed by the North America and these countries. If we look actually R&D spending of the different countries, the bigger the circle, the more the money they are spending. You can see how much of the United States is putting a money into the research and development, followed by China, Japan, and the South Korea. You can see India is not actually behind. India's circle is also increasing. And with the latest advancements by the government and developments by introducing so many grants, whether it is through the Department of Science and Technology or through the Department of Biotechnology, so this circle is getting bigger. It means the R&D investments in the country, India also is progressing towards that, increasing the circumference of that circle. There was a survey being carried out in 2016, which is an old survey, but I just want to highlight here, when it's been asked to people, what do you think? What should change in an R&D budget? The most important thing which people think that it will change, 37% of the people thought that there would be definitely some changes. And what most important in that changes they found is to attract people and to retain people in research. The most difficult thing is to get people into research and to retain them, because you need to pay them, you need funding. And if you don't have funding, you can't pay them, they go to another job. So this was the most important component what they identified. However, if you look at all these different type of researches, that has clearly shown by researchers that all are important, all are going to be increased, and especially applied research and the development programs. Now, this is a US R&D performance. If you look at this, the maximum basic research was carried out by the academics people. It means in whole US, all the universities are really playing a crucial role. And that same applies to any country as well around the globe. If we look at the applied and the development research, it was more in the industry sector as compared to the academia. Now, when I looked on the papers and the literature, I found that what are the most important technologies is coming in the era of 2020, 2019, 2018. That was the list I can find. These are the different areas which has clearly shown they are important in terms of the technologies. However, if I highlight in terms of the pharmaceutical sciences, biotechnology was one of the areas. Genomics and proteomics, medical diagnostics, and nanotechnology. Personalized medicine, and there's all disciplines, the highlighted disciplines are related to pharmacy. And you can clearly see from the graph on the right that the global investment and the US investment, the United States is almost half the global investment spending on the research and development. If every country start investing on the research exactly the way the US has been investing, definitely the landscape of the research avenue will completely change in every country. Pharmaceutical industries are really important, and they need to collaborate with academia. And why they need to do that, let me explain to you. And when they collaborate, and that interface is called as an industry-academia interface. Why it is important? We as a reflecting researchers on the right in academics always have ideas. We always think if we do that, it might be useful for the patients. Industries got a lot of money. They want to invest in academics as well. If you got a novel idea and if you contact a particular industry, those who are interested in your research, they might pay you, because we are the reflecting researchers. We always have novel ideas and aims we always have in the mind. If we do that, that might help. It's a coronavirus time. Every country is just releasing coronavirus grants. Why they are releasing? And why they are emphasizing all the academics people to put, because it is a global burden. It is a global situation. It is causing a big, huge impact on the economy, on everyone's personal life around the globe. And if any one of our academic researchers might have a nice idea which can be easily transformed into a treatment to that COVID, and any industry can take on board that, that can escalate the process, going from 50 years to 10 years to finish the whole things and get a treatment out for people, it's really important. So both the reflecting researchers from academia and the acting practitioners from the industry, they both work in a bi-directional way. It is really important for every single universities around the globe to follow this unique industry academia interface model. What this model says, the most important thing is the long-term collaboration is mandatory for the educational institutes to collaborate with industry, because your population of the students are going to work in industry at some point of time. So why not the curriculum of the program, say pharmacy or engineering or biotechnology, microbiology, can be shaped into an industry requirement. So we should restructure and design the curriculum and duration of the course according to the industry needs. And with that, a person can get a proper evaluation and certification for that industry. And once you have that certification from that industry will automatically absorb those students. So it is really important that every university should start adapting this model. I have taken a couple of these snapshots from important funding bodies in Australia. This is one of the funding body called Department of Industry, Innovation and Science. I got one of the grant from them as well. And what it says is, it clearly says, this department seeks to build a sustained links between academics and researchers. It means you can only apply to this grant when I am from academic and I have some industry collaborator. If my idea, they like it, I will apply with them. This is just an example. So there are various funding bodies which are putting an emphasis on having a collaboration between academia and industry. This is another important funding body in Australia called Australian Research Council. The highlighted box clearly says, if I'm going to read to you, the ARC provides a range of opportunities for collaboration between Australian research sector, industry partners, and organization. Now, this partnership is through one of their grant called Linkage Program. So there are various other funding bodies which really emphasize why it is important. Now, with Australian Research Council, this is very clear why an industry academic collaboration is important. It is important because you get a faster results. You get the money from industry, you do the work in a faster way in the lab, you get the outcomes. You will get an extensive experience with that industry, and you will get a significant return in terms of the investment of your money, because your industry is going to commercialize your ideas. These are just some of the snapshots I have taken from the different universities. And all these universities around are really been publicizing why it is important. It is important because it is a part of the national agenda, and every country must have an agenda why they want to commercialize the product, why the collaborations are important. They can create incentives for the university collaborations because you get the grants, the universities get the names. You train the researchers at the different set of their groups. They might be early career researcher, mid-career researcher, or the senior researchers. It will further enhance the career mobility between the industry, academia, and the government. And also, it provides incentives and co-investment in research infrastructure between all the three different areas of the government, university, federal government, or industry. This is just one of the page from the university where I am based at, with University of Technology, Sydney. It is on one of their website. You can easily see. And I would really encourage every single university around the globe, they must have such sort of the pages, because when industry go on your web page, they really try to find out what exactly you are doing. You are really working towards IP, you're working towards commercialization, and then industry, if they are interested, they will come to you. This is another example of the University of Newcastle. They have a whole setup of a page called Newcastle Innovation. And this is all so this web page links all the different schools based in the university. And then you can, when you put your things in under this page, I got 10 patents, my university got this thing commercialized, and then other industries look at that, they will knock your door. This is another example of Western Australia University of Western Australia having a collaboration with extensive industries around Australia. This is a typical example how the interactions happen. So we are researchers, we are on one corner, industry is on another corner, government control everything, and finances are being run in between everyone. This is how you get the money, you do your research in this competitive era of time. And this is exactly the same thing. So the government comes in the middle. Academia is on a one end. It is exactly the same thing what I have shown here in a simplified way here. Industry is on an other end. You do your research, you get your technology transferred to the industry, they get your patents and commercialization, and then at the end of the day, all the three different sectors are having knowledge management project. If you look at this, this is one of the important funding body in Australia called National Health and Medical Research Council. National Health and Medical Research Council. You can see how much of the investment it has done, giving the money to the different academic universities around Australia, despite there are not too many universities in Australia. You can easily count on fingers how much of the money they have just given to different academics to do the research. We published a paper in 2007 when I was teaching back in India, and that was just one of the pharma magazine. It was being published, called The Need for Industry Academia Network. And with this paper, I'm going to highlight some of the things, because we know the business environment is completely changing, whether it is industry, academics. Even if you are working in academics now, what university demands from you? They demand research. They don't want to see how many lectures you are teaching. And on your CV, you are not putting, I have taken 100 and 1,000 lectures in my life so far. I have prepared 700,000 of the PowerPoint slides. I have been delivered and graduated 1 million students. No, you can't, you never put all these things in your CV. So what you are going to put on your CV? You have to show your research. You have to show what exactly unique you have done in your academic career. So it is really the complexity of the environment, whether it is industry or academics, it's changing. And it is a mutual dependence between those sectors. And that's how it comes into the action called industry-academia interface. They can create a lot of synergies. As I mentioned, you got ideas, you contact industry, provide your idea to them. If they like it, they will get you on board. Because of that, you will easily have that interface, and then you can generate your results. Now, if we really look, everything had certain weaknesses, strengths, opportunities, and threats. So when we are going to have a collaboration with industry, I'm sure definitely we are going to have some strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We are going to definitely face all these problems. The first important thing, let's talk about strength. It is going to benefit both of us. It is going to benefit industry because they're getting their project done. We will get money. Our university is getting name. We will get on our CV as well. It will improve the quality of product, research work, and service because it would be quicker. I can recruit 2 research assistants. I can recruit a postdoc, and then I can run the show very quickly if industry can happy to pay to me. And that research can, if you start doing a research, you started automatically generating a lot of ideas. It means your one area of research can generate or give birth to a new idea, which would be a benefit to the industry. But the funds and the financial constraints are always a limitation, which comes under here. Now, when industry gives you a certain project, they are always time bound. They always want result. If industry has given a project to me and they say, this is a 1-year project, and also the funding bodies have a very strict guidelines of how long you can actually run the show of that project. Now it's a time bound. It means it's a compulsory to meet the deadlines. And if we are doing that thing under the stress, it might bring the research quality bit down. Now, you are doing the research, but who is getting the benefit? Industry is getting the benefit. And it's just a problem at the end of the day, who is going to get the IP? So these things need to be sorted out beforehand. The opportunities, the research scholar, what you are recruiting on that project, they will get first-hand experience of an industrial project. They will innovate in their research skill and technologies. You invest less amount and get a high return because industry do that for you. There is an improvement in the quality, development of newer methodologies, and the exchange of the new ideas. What's the threat? Industry gives you money, you do everything, but government control at the end of the day. Government have their own policies to regulate everything. Now, everything you have done such beautifully in your lab, you have generated such a nice product which can help the population or any disease, but you can't get into the market because government is just slowing down the process. So to do that, that is one of the biggest threat of that research. Institutions are having certain management groups. They don't want to invest money on your research. They want to just invest money getting students in. So that is another important thing which really limit the things. And dispute may come, which I highlighted before, when you are having actually new idea you have created, and then you can't actually get commercialized on your name because industry is everything taking on board. So you really need to actually talk to industry firsthand to get the document signed in such a way that everything can be seen and sorted before actually you start the project. These are some of the actually newspaper ads, and you can see that how the commercialization is really getting important in every single university. And UTS also has been really been highlighted that industry engagement is an emerging thing in the whole university business model. So it is really important for every single university around the world, around the globe, to have these set of collaborations done with the industries. Now, it is an important, everyone knows, and it is a most valued resonance which can help both industry sector and the academic sector. I'm going to show you some of the opportunities which we people can collaborate and we can apply between the India and the Australia. Now, Government of India controls majorly through two different departments, Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology. I'm just highlighting the major ones, but there might be more other funding bodies as well. These are some of the Australian grants and scholarship programs which India can avail. Endeavour Scholarship is no more in action, but Australia-India Council, Australian India Institute, Australian Research Council, and NHMRC are the major players in which we can collaborate with Indian universities and can apply together various things. Australia-India Fellowship Fund, a great opportunity for a postdoc person or any researcher who want to come to Australia can collaborate and can apply for this grant, which is managed by the Australian Academy of Science. This is an example of the Department of Industry, Innovation and Science, which is the Australia-India Strategic Research Fund, which comes every year. And currently, it is just released the round 13 for COVID grants. But the only limitation is a single Australian university can maximum apply 2 grants, one with DST and one with DBT. So every time these priority research areas, there's some DBT can take and some DST takes. So one university can maximum apply 2 grants. So it means if someone is interested applying in me, I need to get back to my university as early as possible as it has been announced. Like in COVID-19 grants, I have been approached by many people, but when the time I got my collaborators from India to apply for this grant. By the time I approached the university, both the slots were taken by some other people with their other Indian collaborators. So it's always good to actually get in time to submit the EOI to get this into action. And you can see the different areas. They can be agriculture, astronomy, astrophysics, biomedical devices, and even the nanotechnology, which comes under pharmacy, marine sciences, stem cells, and vaccines. These are the various other Australia-India Strategic Research Fund, the various grants. One is called Indo-Australian Science and Technology Fund. which are being controlled by DST in India, by Government of India. And here we call as Department of Industry, Innovation, Science, Research, and Tertiary Education. Similarly, Indo-Australian Biotechnology Fund, which has been controlled jointly by DBT from India, and same Department of Industry, Innovation, Science, Research, and Tertiary Education from Australia. The next important grant is a Grant Challenge Fund, which is maintained by DST and the same Department of Industry, Innovation, Science, Research, and Tertiary Education. The last is an Australia-India Fellowship Fund, which I highlighted before as well. It is being managed by the Australian Academy of Science. This is another program called Australian Indian Council Grant Program, which comes every year. You can see that on my screenshot, 2017, 2018, 2018, 19, there would be now 2020 as well. I didn't get a chance to plug in the new information. This is one of the another grant called Spark, and I'm sure everyone might be knowing. You can collaborate with various industries, various universities across the globe in these nations. But I believe there is certain guidelines which say the university needs to be in the first 200 ranking or something. UTS stands in that. And I'm happy if someone is really interested in applying. And I did have applied with few universities and results are awaiting, hope it comes through. This is just one of the photo of the last pharmacy gala dinner of our UTS, pharmacy gala dinner. And that's Professor Kylie Williams, who is the head of the discipline of pharmacy. We had a tie-up or an MOU being set up with one of the university in Chennai, and we are working very closely with them on a couple of the research projects. So she presented that over there in that. We are in process of setting up collaborations with other universities as well. And likewise, it is really important. And I'm showing this slide because it's, as I mentioned to you, it is not only important because one side academics can work. You need to come out of the comfort zone, which I showed you in the first slide. And that can emerge actually into the new avenues into your research. Now, with the Spark, we did apply it with Manipal. We did apply it with another university in Haryana. We did apply it with another university in Karnataka. So it's an ample opportunities. These grants can be applied through the different Australian organization and Australian collaborators. Not only restricted to that, if I talk about the collaborations, when you start working on a research, it gives you a big research impact. And that research impact comes in form of your publications. It comes in form of your research grants. It comes in form of your commercialization you generate in terms of the IPs. And at the end of the day, it is not only restricting to your CV, it is benefiting the school you are based at, and it is benefiting the university overall you are based at. So on top of that also, I would highly recommend everyone nowadays that the research impact is always being counted with how much of your research has been dispersed across the globe, and how you do that. So the best and the easy way to do that is to have an account on Twitter rather than on a Facebook. Facebook is really important to have a social contacts. You can have a social contacts, your family is there, friends are there, and you publicize your paper on that, which you have published, won't get that research impact what you get from Twitter. Twitter is a thing where the more the paper is being retweeted, your published paper around the globe, your research analytics will go up. Everything nowadays is counted in terms of research analytics, and that gives a value. And what it takes in consideration is, it takes your LinkedIn, it takes your Twitter, it takes through Google, all these searches, how exactly your paper is being gone into these different industries and how they have been used by different people across the globe. That gives you a research impact. At the moment now, when we submit any grants even, there is a whole section comes of a research impact to write in 200 words. So what we normally write in that research impact? We normally write about ourselves. We brag how good we are. what I have done in my research that has given a big impact. And that impact, you are not going to count saying that I posted 15 papers on the Facebook and it was liked by 1 million people. That is not an impact. The impact will come when on Twitter, my paper, say, example, is being used in United States by a university. I can say that, or even, you know, your paper is being cited by someone else. That's an impact. So those kind of the impacts you can easily highlight. And it's massively, the landscape of the research is completely changing, and it's all come through collaboration. If you publish a paper with your own university name on it, it might have not that high impact when you publish a paper with a person from different universities that clearly show you has been collaborating with the people across the globe. So I would highly recommend and encourage everyone, those who are not on Twitter, to create an account on Twitter and start following the people of your interest. I do follow Indian government as well. I do follow news channels as well on it, because I do get an update with the news. However, I do follow various researchers of my area. So when they have published any research in my area, I do retweet it, because that gives a benefit to them. However, it is in my area, I have used it somehow. And likewise, it is a symbiotic game which plays around the globe, whether it is the academia interaction, or whether it is an academia industry interaction. LinkedIn is also important. LinkedIn not only just restrict you to just contacts, you know, because it's a very professional platform. You get in touch with the people of your own profession. However, you might get in contact with various industry people as well. And you don't know, looking at your progress of what you got on your LinkedIn, someone have contacted you asking, hey mate, can you do that for me? Because I have seen quite a significant description and progress of your research on LinkedIn from last few years. You don't know, you might get an advantage out of it. So it is really important that you should be collaborating with various people around the globe, not only just restricting to your own country. You can actually definitely collaborate with your different universities in India, as well as in abroad, as well as in industry as well. Now, I think I have been told that I have to finish it, so I will stop here and I'll have my collaborations, because I have been given 45 minutes. I'm happy to take any questions after this. So I would like to acknowledge, first of all, the Amity Institute of Pharmacy, Amity University, Gwalior, particularly Professor Nagappa. He contacted me, and he's one of my mentor, and he contacted me for this talk, and without any hitch, I said it would be a pleasure, because he's such a great mentor. And Dr. Neeraj Mishra got in contact with me through Professor Nagappa and has organized everything. I'm really thankful to Dr. Neeraj as well. Now, Dr. G.T. Kulkarni and Dr. Rajendra Avasthi are also from Amity, and they are based at Noida. I did have few papers published with them as well. And I'm looking forward in a likewise way, publishing more with every one of you guys and working closely with you. I would also like to thank my own school, the Discipline of Pharmacy, Graduate School of Health, University of Technology, Sydney. I would like to thank our previous founder of that school, Professor Charlie Benrimoj, who was the head of the discipline of the Graduate School of Health, and Professor Joan Gray, who is currently the head of the Graduate School of Health. Professor Kylie Williams, who is the head of the Discipline of Pharmacy, and my mentor, Professor Phil Hansbrough and Professor Mary Pipavi, with whom I work closely, and my PhD students are part of the drug delivery node in the Center of Inflammation, where Professor Phil Hansbrough is based at. Now, I am only being left with 3 minutes, so I would just take an opportunity to thank every one of you for attending this session of mine, and I hope I had given you some insight into why the collaboration is important in the current academic landscape. It's not necessary we need to have an industry collaboration. We can have collaboration with academic collaboration, and that will strengthen each other's CV. As I mentioned, it's a symbiotic thing, and it is a really growing trend. And you can do it through the various channels which I have mentioned. So I'll end up my presentation with this lovely photo of the evening sunset of Sydney behind the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And if any one of you are visiting any point of time in Sydney, please do knock and do let me know. I'm more than happy to host you and take you around. Thank you so much, everyone. And thanks again for this opportunity to share my thoughts on academic and industry collaborations. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Yep.
Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Mishra.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Dua, for giving such a nice presentation on the industry academia interaction. It's very important. So I think MIT is looking forward you to have a nice collaboration with you. And on behalf of our HY, Dr. A.N. Nagappa, and entire AIP family, we want to thank you from bottom of core of my bottom regarding the very nice presentation you have given, and it is very interesting for the including faculty members and the students also, those who want to do some research. So sir, before the now we'll start the question and answer session, sir. So can I ask questions, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So my question is that on behalf of the students, I'm telling you, please put some light on the how we can increase the translation research, translations of the work done, or how we can improve our work that can be translated.
So there are two ways you can actually improve the translational work, because the translational work can be drug delivery or in vitro or in vivo. It would be best thing to just collaborate with the people, those who are working in different avenues. Like say, I work on immunology and I work on animal models, say in asthma and COPD. If someone is working on a drug delivery and they want to do a certain in vitro testing with me, that's another avenue. I do work on drug delivery as well. And if I collaborate with someone who works in animal models, like my mentor, Professor Phil Hensbrough, he got unique animal models in asthma, COPD, pulmonary fibrosis, and lung cancer. This is how I use for my solid lipid nanoparticles or the liquid crystalline nanoparticles we make with the various drugs or the therapeutics we think can target those. So I can use his model. So it's all depends on, the first thing what you have to do is, when you are running your show of your project, you definitely do a literature search. When you do your literature search, you see different people working in that different areas in different universities. There is no harm in dropping an email to them, because it's not going to cost you anything. You don't know, that email might come as a very polite, a new avenue for you. So if you write to those people and say, I came across your paper, I work in this research area, would you be able to test these formulations which I had made in my laboratory? And if a person say yes, and you would be able to send your formulation to them, you don't know, that might lead to a commercialization pathway, or it might lead to a very high impact publication. So both the things, both the people are getting benefit out of it. So yes, you can do that way.
Okay, thank you. So the one question is asked from one of my colleague, Dr. Jovita Kanojia. She is asking how we can commercialize our developed formulation.
So that varies on the government policies from country to country. I'm not a very right person to answer that. However, if you have carefully gone through my presentation when I was presenting, every university have a commercialization department, what you call, or a commercialization access. They are the people. So if you have done something really novel in your university, through your channel, if you knock the door of the commercialization people, they are the best people who can help you, letting you know you can apply or not. Because if I'm applying for an Indian patent, the set of instruction and the process is different when I have to apply for a patent in Australia or US. So my university will bear the expenses. If they feel that really that innovation is really important and it can generate something for the university, they will invest money registering that. So yes, you can do the commercialization, but you need to go through your commercialization channel of your university.
That is rightly said, because Amity itself having the innovation center. They're also
Yeah,
having
that's
the
true.
separate group that can check the patentability also. They're having separate innovation center at the Gwalior also, in Noida also.
Yeah, that's the way. So if you really got that, you can actually go to those department and get the right information. And normally university bear the fees nowadays because they are getting an IP on their name, with your name in on that paper, or means on that patent, I should say. So yes, absolutely.
Sir, again, I'm asking one question. Is there any specific website that we can check the, suppose the collaborative research project is launched in Australia? So is there any site, instead of checking all the university website, is there any, site that we can check there's, yeah, there's institute want the collaborative research work from for India, like for Indian point of view?
So I never came across, to be honest, Dr. Mishra, any of the websites so far.
Okay, okay.
Think if any such website can be created for everyone around the globe, what you call that, the experts under, one website, say I work in drug delivery and my name goes in that, experts,
Yeah.
and say someone works on animal model and their name goes, and if the whole world can come up with a website, it's much easier to contact. But however, I myself personally never came across any such link where you can get such information. The only thing which I highlighted just now is the best to see from the literature, the people, those who work in your area, and contact them through email. Or once you contact them through email, you can also request them, can we have a Skype chat, or can we have a Zoom chat? And that will open in another, avenues or an access for your research.
Yes, sir. So we will definitely in contact to to you also regarding the
Yeah.
further any
It will be a
development.
pleasure. No, absolutely, Dr. Mishra.
So is there any question from audience? You can just you can ask your question, or you can on the chat box. Meanwhile, you can also WhatsApp me or ask the chat box.
I
If
think
you
even
have,
with Gavalia, there you guys have one of the faculty called Shwetang.
yeah,
Shwetang.
yeah, Shwetang
And
Bhatt, yeah, he's also
Shwetang. So I think he is in touch with me, and he had contributed a chapter in my book actually. So I recently got a Springer book published, and Shwetang contributed actually a chapter, and
yes,
it's already published. So this is just an example, like you don't know where you collaborate, how you collaborate, when you collaborate, and where that collaboration will take you.
yes, sir,
You
yeah.
don't know. I myself have collaborations in US. I have collaboration in Brazil. I have collaboration in Japan. I have collaboration in India and UK and Malaysia. These are the major 6, 7 countries where my collaborations are. And if someone want to collaborate with me, I'm more than happy to get extended those collaboration to those people. It means if you are knowing one person indirectly, say I'm contacting Dr. Mishra, and say I want to set up a research with Dr. Mishra. Now Dr. Mishra knows 10 other people. So Dr. Mishra automatically, some point of time, if you start building a trust, which is really important, to be honest,
Yes, sir,
because research also is completely, the foundation is trust. You really need to trust someone, then only you build a stronger collaboration. So that might take, 6 months or a year to build that trust. It should not happen. I am just been involving Dr. Mishra on my papers. I am just going on Dr. Mishra's paper, and reciprocatingly, there's nothing coming. It need to work hand to hand, in parallel.
yes,
And once you have that trust, Mishra will introduce 10 other people of his collaborations to me. And
yes,
he'll say, hey, Cam really works very honestly and transparently. I think it's good to get in contact with him. We might come up with something new. And that's how you broaden and widen the horizons of your research area. Whether this research area is in pharmacy practice, drug delivery, medicinal chemistry, pharmacognosy, phyto, anywhere. I'm going to invite, I'm going, hopefully one of my proposal is going to approve soon. And I would like to invite most of the people to contribute on that. And that will just an initiation of the collaboration. And I don't know, I might be working so closely with Shwetang that I might be creating something new in the coming years. I might be working so closely with Dr. Mishra, I might be coming up with something new. So it is just building a trust and going through that.
So, is there any question from participant? We are having 5 minutes left with us. You can also ask the question, drop your question on the chat box, or you can message to me also, because we are having 5 minutes remaining for the question answer session. I think that there's no more questions coming.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm highly thankful to you, because you have given the presentation very nice. That is a nice topic, that is industry caring, because all we can get benefited from this your information that you have shared. It is very good for us also. Definitely we will contact you also for the further collaboration. And so on behalf of Amity University, Madhya Pradesh and AIT, and on behalf of all our faculty members and our HOI sir, we highly thankful to you for sparing time for such a nice presentation. And okay, thank you sir for a nice presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And it's really a pleasure. Thank you.